Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God. But now Yahweh, who will do so in the name of his only begotten Son, of Mashiach Yahushua. We back at it again, right? I'm on a roll. Feel good about myself. Just being able to, tap in with you guys every day. We're gonna keep it rolling. What I want to do is I'm gonna finish going into the scriptures that we started yesterday. Again, we have touched on, being faithful and committed to the Most High God. We turn around. We also touched on, the Most High God being wroth or being angry with us, turning his back on us, or not necessarily turning his back on us, but turning his back to us because of our wickedness and disobedience. We also turn around and spoke on, the indignation of the Most High, how he punishes us, but there will always still remain that mercy and that love within our hearts because we are considered and regarded to him as the apple of his eye. So we touched on the apple of his eye briefly at the end of the class yesterday. I want to finish going into the few scriptures that I had regarding that, and in the latter part of the live, I want to touch on some things that's going to pertain to the title of the live, something I've been really talking about for a while, and I really want to be able to get an opportunity to exercise that and get into it with these live streams that I've been doing. Something I think that it'd be really necessary for the nation. I think it'd be very helpful, and then just kind of get the ball rolling for us to look out for one another, be checking on one another, and then also feel comfortable with expressing ourselves. Again, I'll touch on that on the latter part. Let's get back into these scriptures. Where did I have? We also touched on Israel being scattered as well, so that's something that's important. Okay. We can close that out. Turn this Wi-Fi off so I ain't using up some of this good old Wi-Fi that we always want to give us troubles. Close that one out too. All right, let me share my screen. It's so funny, man. I'll be shalom. I'm sorry, man. Shalom to everybody that's in the chat. Everybody that's always tuning in. Shout out to the newcomers as well. Deeply appreciate you guys. Like I said, I got some really, really good stuff, man. And if you guys would, assist and help me out, again, I'm gonna talk about it in the end. Just trying, get y'all focused, get y'all excited, because we got a lot to go into. And again, if done right, this can turn into something really good for the nation, right? But it's crazy too because of how things kind of segue into the next segment or the next things that come upon my heart to speak about or to touch on or to go into. We've been going over just how the Lord has been dealing with us, and it's always for the purpose of humbling us and bringing us back to a place where we have to recognize we got to lean on him. And then through the law, statutes, and commandments that was given unto us, we recognize also that one way that we have to lean on him is recognizing how we have to utilize each other, right? This is why the scriptures speak about the whole law hangs upon loving your neighbor as you love yourself, and then following the law is how we showcase our obedience and our faith to the Most High. He bestows in us characteristics and skills where we have to utilize each other in order to magnify that and make it great. Us being great individually does absolutely nothing. And this is how you've seen, our generations, especially as far back as we can go back with them on film, And then even going back prior to that, where, we have records of how great, Jake, which is Israel, has been going back through so many different empires, so many different captivities, so many different locations that we've inhabited. We've always found ourselves being spoken about and being regarded for our greatness, but we've never been able to monopolize or capitalize on those things because we've all been great individually. It's only going to be when we come together and showcase our greatness collectively that we'll be a powerful force. So let me share my screen. Let's get into something. Chrome tab, boom. Okay. So that's how we're gonna do it. Start at Lamentations 2, and I'm gonna start at 16. It says, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. Right? This is our enemies. This is the people that work against us. This is not people that have any care, concern, or ambition and desire for us to benefit, to prosper, and to win. And it says that they hiss at us, right? And they open their mouths against us. This is sort of like what we read about here. I ain't gonna say sort of. This is like what we read about here in Psalms. I don't know why I always do this and not just go to Blue Letter. Take this caps lock off. This is exactly what we see about Psalms, the 83rd chapter. Right? Where it says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. All right? You go into that word tumult. It says a murmur, a growl, a roar. They cry aloud, they mourn, rage, sound, make noise, tumult, be clamorous, be disquieted, to be loud, to be moved, troubled. Right? To make a loud sound, a tumult. It says to rage, to war. Right? They rage and they war against us. And this is, indicative when you hear things like it says that they hiss and gnash the teeth, right? Dealing with that growl, dealing with that roar. This is their approach. This is their, outlook onto us, right? And it says this is a day that we looked for, that they found it, and they've been able to see it. They have been waiting to see us fail. They have been hoping to see us fail, right? They take crafty, I don't know why let's keep doing it. They take crafty counsel against thy people, right? They consult against thy hidden ones. And I always speak on this, but I never really show it. In the NIV, they plot against those you cherish, right? They consult. Oh God, why I just keep doing that? They consult together against your treasured ones, right? Ooh, here's the one right here. They consult together against thy protected ones, right? The ones that we cherish, the ones that we treasure, and the ones that we protect. Who is that? Especially from the perspective of our men, right? When danger is approaching, as the men, as the front runners, as the warriors of our nation, who do we cherish? Who do we treasure? And who do we protect, right? It's our women and our children, our loved ones, especially as us being the men that's supposed to go out and to, be that protection and be that army of the Most High God, especially and of Israel, right? So this is the type of stuff that you see. It says they've consulted together against these people that we treasure, that we cherish and protect. They have said, if I keep doing this, it's going to get on my nerves. I'm going to stop trying to highlight it. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. And when they're able to see these things happening, they're giving praise for it. And there's so many scriptures that we can go to where they're praising the Most High, or they're praising either their deity, or they're just having this all around, celebration for our downfall, because when we fail, they win. So it's not anything that we should be mad at. It's not anything we could be upset about. They got the victory. We give them credit where credit is due. What I always say is, as I'm not going to cry and complain and pout, I only point it out more so to my people because we've forgotten how they have cheered on our downfall. That's the reason for me. I can't speak for nobody else. That's why I bring it up as a reminder to our people who we're up against, as a reminder to our people who our enemy is, and why it's needful for us to draw a divide, draw a line in the sand, and separate ourselves from that, and focus and work more so on how we're going to gather ourselves together and how we're going to build ourselves up long before we can start lending a hand to any other nation. We have to focus on ourselves. And when I say ourselves, I mean Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, which we come to understand and know are the Israelites you read about in the Bible. So let's go further. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. We can clearly see this is in effect now, which is why we have to go out and teach every man, their neighbor, to know God, love God, and also to recognize that they are Israelites, right? They've consulted together with one consent, they're confederate against thee. And then it lists the nations, the top nations, top two at least, is Edom, which we know is a so-called Caucasian, and the Ishmaelites, which we know are your various Arab nations. So again, getting into that, going back into Lamentations 2:16, these are the same enemies, right? That have opened their mouth against us. They hiss, they gnash their teeth, which is that murmuring, which is that that growl or that war that they speak against us, right? Which goes into all different types of propaganda, stereotypes, degradation, lies. That will go into it as well. It says they have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we looked for. We have found it. We have seen it. It says Yahweh have done that which he had devised, which is that if we forsook and disobeyed him, that he would send us into into subjection under a nation that we did not know, whose language we did not speak, and it was all for the purpose of destroying us. It's funny because somebody put that in the comment board on one of our videos, like, this is a problem with these channels. They don't never speak on the fact that it was the Most High that put us in this captivity. We always speak on that. It's just that we also recognize that the Most High's judgment is likened unto a ring. So just because it was the Lord that orchestrated these events and these occurrences to happen does not now mean that someone gets a pass, right? Because what goes around comes around. You do reap what you sow. And this is also why we have to recognize, when I made the example the last couple of days, where it says, the sister was talking about how difficult it is when she's, trying to serve her husband, but she remains faithful and she remains doing so. And I asked her, well, why? She says, because I fear the Most High. If you understand and know that the Lord will deal with you how he wants to deal with you, and, you being, damn, man, it's a gnat right here messing with me. It's almost like I got some sort of sugar or something. And every time I try to get him, he fly away. Fly, 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 curries. Fly, fly, fly. Not bad. All right. But if you recognize that, the Most High controls and he's handling everything, he could deal with you as he wants. Recognizing that you're an Israelite, you have an opportunity now to be dealt with on, as we always say, the right side, the right-hand side of things. He's going to instruct you to do the right things. You have an opportunity, not just because you're an Israelite, he's just going to do it anyway. No, you have to showcase that obedience. You have to showcase that devotion, that faith. Then he will instruct you the right way. But anybody outside of that, you got to recognize you're a part of the Lord's movie. You're a part of the Lord's plan. And if he wants to utilize you to punish Israel, but then recognize that he's going to also bring that same judgment back around to you as the Israelites come back into his mercy and grace and love. And as he builds them back up, somebody's got to come down. As the Lord exalted the heathen and brought Israel down, right? Let me get that in the screen. As the Lord exalted the heathen and brought Israel down as a result of Israel's wickedness and disobedience, as he corrects things because we correct ourselves, somebody, the heathen, has to come back down, and then we are going to be put back up. But it's not going to just be a situation where it's like, shot clock is at 24 seconds. And if you don't, get the ball off in time, then it's a turnover and you voluntarily give the ball up. No, that's not how, anything works in this life. And even the mindset that our enemies have developed, those that murmur against us, those that consult together against us, those that do any of those things, you recognize they are not going to just give this up, nor do we want them to, because it really wouldn't mean much to us if they just gave it away. And that's kind of the situation that we find ourselves in here in America. We just expecting them to give us something because we complain about it. No, we have to obtain our autonomy, our freedom, our liberty, our recompense has to be done by force. It has to be done the same way, if not stronger, if not with more force than was used to take these things away from us. This is the opportunity, and this is the way that things work. Let's go back to Lamentations 2. It says, the Lord Yahweh have done that which he hath devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and hath not pity. That was one of the, stipulations that the Most High had stated to us, to say, listen, the way in which you've been operating has been contrary than what we agreed upon, which was what you're going to be worshiping and serving me and no one else with all of your heart, mind, and soul. And we didn't. So what is the word that he devised, or what was the commandment that he gave in times of old? That he was going to destroy us, he was going to bring us low, and he was no longer going to have that pity upon us, right? The pity dealing with the, the compassion versus the anger that he now has. And he hath caused thine enemies to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries, right? That rulership, that dominance, they have been, they've had that for a long time, and they've been ruling over us for some time. We all understand that. We know that. We speak on this a lot. But in this verse, in the way that we bring this out, we have to keep reiterating these things, because a lot of times we can get comfortable. We're not on plantations anymore. We're not being, whipped in our backs every single day. For the most part, if you could really kind of block out the oppression that we face here, it could be easy. One, by complying, and then just turning that blind eye and making the excuses for our oppressors the same way that they do. They make excuses. They don't want to hold themselves guilty, and we buy into it and fall for the lie as well, and the deception, right? It says, their heart cried unto Yahweh, O wall of the daughter of Zion. Let tears run down like a river day and night. Give thyself no rest, and let not the apple of thine eye cease. And again, this is another talking point, that even when the Lord is angry with us, we are still trying to call on him and bring this, happy time and that love back to his remembrance. We use the words of the Lord, not to try and con the Lord, but to remind him, letting them know that we recognize the special place that we had / and or have, right, in your heart, and we want to get back to that place. Again, recognize the relationship between the Most High and Israel. This is a husband-wife relationship where the ruler, the authoritative figure, right, the dominant figure, becomes angry with the woman, right? The husband becomes angry with the woman, and when she messes up, and I'm gonna tell you this, even on the flip side, not to say that the Most High would ever start pleading his case to us like we can do that, but just in the understanding how relationships work, even with the man, but he know he done something wrong, or he know he's messed up, you start trying to remind them of good things, and that is the idea you want to put into your partner's mind, that I'm making a conscious effort for us to get back to that place. That's something that's important to be understood, and that is a way in which we could approach the Most High, and we see the prophets do it. So here you see it. Their heart, right, cried unto Yahweh, or unto the Most High. It says, O wall of the daughter of Zion, let tears run down like a river day and night. Those tears, right, when you see somebody crying and people try to use them, people do use these tears deceitfully. right? Oh, there you go with the crocodile tears. There you go with the, cry me a river. That is literally a saying. Oh, cry me a river, because people know how the being able to see tears, you know what I'm saying? Being able to see tears is almost a representation of someone's remorse, right? Or at least it should be. But because people use it so deceitfully and use it to their advantage, they abuse the idea that is supposed to be given from seeing those tears. So this is one thing that we try to utilize with the Most High: tears. It says, um, "Let tears run down like a river day and night. Give thyself no rest. Let not the apple of thine eye cease." Right? Do not completely destroy us and take us away from um, that place that we have of being that apple of thine eye. And Chief has spoke on this before about the literal meaning of being the apple of your eye. The apple of someone's eye is basically like the center or the core of it. And if you look into, a mirror, or if you're looking at someone, what's going to be in the middle or in the core of their eye is going to be reflection of you. So as he sees Israel, he sees himself within us, right? Saying Yawasop, we do. If I could find the video, I'll post it for tomorrow's live. But that would be too long for me to go into for right now. But we do have it. I'll try to find that for you. Um, email me. Email me and I'll find it for you. Like Sarah was to Abraham. Beautiful point, Yahweh. It says, arise, cry out in the night, in the beginning of the watches. Pour out thine heart like water before the face of the Lord. Lift up thine hands towards him for the life of thy youth, for the life of thy young children that faint for hunger in the top of every street. This is definitely something that we're suffering. No matter what inner city, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian neighborhood you go into, right? We are seeing our people suffering from a famine, right? It's not a nationwide famine. It's not even a statewide or a citywide famine. It's a community famine, something that we are suffering where our men, women, and children go hungry. Our elders go hungry. Our widows go hungry, right? The fatherless go hungry. And these are the things that we are, it says, lift up thine hands toward him for the life of thy young children. Why? Because these are the ones that have been consulted against, right? There's been a consult, there has been counsel to take that have been taken against our children. This is a problem, right? Another one. It says for Zechariah chapter 2, verse 8, for thus saith Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. And like literally, there you have it. Even though it was the Most High's, plan or the Most High's instruction for these things to happen, it doesn't take away from the fact that when he touched, or when all of these other nations, when they put their hand to us, they put their hand to the apple of the Most High God. So all of these things have to come back around and have to be, taken into account for. Those things are what's most important. Let me see something real quick. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Watch this. got a pretty good precept to bring out. This is Matthew 25, verse 40. It says, and the king shall answer and say unto Matthew 25 and 40, excuse me. And the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of my brethren, ye have done it unto me. And that's something that's very much so important, that not only does the Most High recognize this, not only does Christ recognize this, but we should start recognizing this amongst ourselves. Imagine if Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians took the mindset that when you do something to one of us, you have done something to all of us, right? If we were to react and if we were to, move and take action when they do something to one of us, as if they've done it to all of us, imagine what type of hesitation, imagine what type of scruple that our enemies would develop in terms of them being so careless now, or rather than them being so careless now, to just kill us, to just speak evil against us, to, exonerate themselves when they do something so wicked and so wrong. Imagine if we was able to take action, but it's hard for us to do that because, one, we've gotten used to it, so it almost seems like regular life. Two, we have a lot of our people that don't have that fight in them, right? And this is where the Hebrew Israelites come into play, because we take a nationalistic approach that whether you're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments or not, you're an Israelite, and we're commanded to love our brother and not stand by idly when their life is in danger. So we want to be the examples, and we want to be the vanguards, right, or the pioneers for our other people to take the same approach and to have that same heart of flesh, right, towards an injustice done, towards, some sort of wrongdoing that is done to us, rather than having that stony heart or that cold heart and just say, well, whatever, either they deserved it. We have a lot of our people that say that it wasn't me. They have that selfish approach, or, they just have the approach, to kind of try to be neutral and just say, well, I don't want to get involved. I want to stay out of it. It doesn't really pertain to me. Right. It's another one. Verse 45. Then shall he answer them, saying, verily I say unto you, insomuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not unto me. So if they don't do it to these things, don't do it to one of us, then they haven't done it to all. But if they have, we should definitely take that approach to say, hey, this is a problem, and it could have easily been us, which a lot of people try. They have the shirts like it could have been me, or I am Trayvon Martin, or I am Akai Gurley, I am Tamir Rice, things of that nature. We see it, we're just not seeing it enough, and we have to base it on something. A lot of times people will sit up here and see a good saying, they'll agree with it, but they don't allow it to take root, and they don't use it as a principle that you can use at any given situation in your life. They don't do that because it's not based on something. And we got this hater mentality where it's like, oh, you got that from such and such, or you got that from that one guy, and now I got a problem with him, or I don't like him, so you're not going to follow it. This is coming from the word of God. So it's important that we utilize these things for our benefit, because that's what the scriptures say. Things written aforetime or for our learning. We got to learn from this, recognize we've been suffering this for a very, very long time, and it's not going to get any easier. It's always going to get harder if we continue to have this, as my brother Marcus G just said, desensitized outlook to the troubles of our people. Let me get another one. Book of Psalms, chapter 105, and we're going to read verse 13. It says, when they went from one nation to another, from one kingdom to another, he suffered no man to do them wrong. Yeah, he reproved kings for their sake. This is how the Lord looked at us. This is how the Lord loved us, saying, touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. That's what we want back. And we understand and know how we have to do it. Recognize you as Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. Recognize you're Israelite. Follow the law, statutes, and commandments, which is loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Do not take these things for granted. Stand on that and apply it. Don't just talk about it. Make sure that you apply it, right? Greater love have no man than lay his life down for his friends. If that's what it takes, cool. You know you have an entire community behind you that will, continue to spread and build up and, speak on your name. And also utilize what you've done as a catalyst to other people following suit. That's important as well. Let me get one more. Deuteronomy 30:7. And the Lord and Yahweh thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. This is the outcome we're looking for. If anybody has not, go and read Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. It's one of the most powerful chapters in the Bible, and it's one of the chapters that, all of our counterparts, right, or all of those that are contrary to the understanding that we have of the scriptures, they refuse to address it. They refuse to speak about it because it literally talks about the people, the actual descendants, the actual bloodline, the actual flesh and blood Israelites that came out of Egypt, and the curses and punishments that they would suffer if they disobeyed the Most High, but that the Lord had promised to recover them, right, from all of the places they were scattered for wickedness and disobedience, and everything that they suffered, everything that the heathen put their hand unto them to do, these things will be brought back upon them. So that's something that's powerful. That's something that's important for us. We got to recognize that, and we love the Most High for it. And this is another reason why we continuously dedicate ourselves to Him and work for that, or work towards that salvation, right? So those are scriptures that I had, just pertaining to we being the apple of the Lord's eye and the love and the mercy and grace that He has for us. He will always have that. So don't take it for granted, though, as our forefathers have done beforehand. They just looked at it like, hey, Lord won't always be here. And that's not the case. He definitely has allowed these things to come upon us for our betterment, for our benefit. And I know I've learned. I know I've learned, and I ain't been here that long, and it ain't took me that long. So it shouldn't be too much more difficult for our people to recognize that. And if they don't, hey, may the Lord have mercy on your soul. But with that, I wanted to go into, something called, I was going to really call it Woe for Woes, right? What's today? Wednesday? Ooh, got DK3. I want to go into something called Woe for Woes, and I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. You go into the word woe, right? Go into the lexicon, right? This word woe, Strong's H, what is this? 188. It says a passionate cry of grief or despair. And one thing that we have to understand and recognize is that we are all going through something. We are all, suffering in some way, shape, or form these curses, whether it's financially, whether, it's dealing with shelter and you having a place to live, whether it's just, the camaraderie and the cohesiveness of your household, you getting along with your wife or a sister getting along with her husband. That we are all suffering some things, whether or not you getting along with your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, any of these things, we all going through it. And what I wanted to do, and of course I'm going through them as well, like every day. Sometimes I'll touch on certain things. Sometimes I'll wait and then speak on them later on after I've kind of had time to process and deal with it. But what I wanted to do, especially just, kind of like a midday decompress or a decompression for our people, especially, we got 53 people tuned in right now. Again, I appreciate everybody that has tuned in. I want to give people the opportunity to maybe come on if they're comfortable. If you're comfortable, come on, and like I said, hey, utilize CAP as an ear, utilize the people in the comment section, as an ear. Let us know what you're going through. Let us know what's going on. And like I said, just use it as an opportunity to decompress, get some things off your chest. Let us know what you're going through. And, Lord willing, I have some constructive advice to give. Lord willing, I have the opportunity to, maybe help. Or we could possibly even set up a time period where we can have a council or a discussion later on down the line. We definitely have to utilize one another. that's really the only way we're gonna get out of here. You know, it's definitely a collective venture. Nobody is gonna be able to just establish their salvation by themselves. Um, Even keeping the law, statutes, and command, which a lot of people try to do. They sit here and they'll, put it out there to say, "Oh, I know I'm an Israelite. I do this and that, but I don't want to join up with brothers. I don't want to congregate with brothers. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I would just rather be by myself." I get it. I totally understand it. It's safe. It's a very safe thing to do, right? But remember, the whole law hangs on how you're treating other people, right? So as easy as it would be for you to just kind of, I want to support, I want to donate, I want to do that, but I want to stay to myself. No, you cannot do that. There might be someone that needs you and whatever wisdom and level of expertise and perspective that you have. And we all got to be able to share that and utilize that in some way. We all have to contribute to the pot. So I got about 10 minutes. I know D can be running a little late sometimes, so I might have a little bit more. But I'm gonna put a link in the chat if anybody got anything to contribute. Again, decompress, let off. You want to just kind of unload, pause. Now's the time. I'll start it off. Because, man, like I said, Cap be going through it, man. I got a lot of things that I kind of hold on to, and I have brothers, in the organization that I use for ear and an opportunity to let me get things off of my chest and let off my spirit. But again, if I'm be coming here talking to you guys every day, might as well get the ball rolling, right? So I put the link in the chat. If anybody, wants to come on and share some things, cool. But I definitely know that it's been something that I want to speak on. And I'm not the type of person, like, when things happen to me, or, if I suffer loss of a loved one, I don't really go online and start, posting pictures or, I misuse, rest in peace and whatnot. A lot of times I don't really feel like it's people's business. But again, that could easily be something that I have to get past and I have to get over. And I guess really in terms of speaking about it, this situation, I haven't really spoke about it too much to people. Spoke to Chief about it, but because Chief knew the person. So what was this? This was Sunday morning, right? After camp on Saturday, we all come up over to the class. We just kind of fellowship and parlaying. And maybe about like 2 something, almost 3 o'clock, I got a phone call from one of the brothers that I saw on our camp, which is one of my relatives, letting me know that a family member of mine killed. Now, this family member is my cousin, but was raised in a household with me for a good period of time, like my little brother. He also has 3 other little brothers, but the last 2 came later on in life. Him and his little brother, that's 2 years younger than him, they're literally like my little brothers. In terms of my actual siblings, I only have one sibling. I have an older sister. She's 2 years older than me. And my dad kind of took these 2, my 2 cousins in, and was raising them. They refer to me as their brother, their god brother. They refer to my dad as their godfather, or G daddy, as they will call him. And these is really like my little brothers, and I got the call that he had been killed. Now, brother comes from a broken home. If anybody that knows my story, when my household dissolved with my mom and dad, it affected so many people, outside of just me, my sister, and my immediate family that I was a part of. And, me trying to deal with that, and then me trying to get my shit together, and me trying to, be like a positive role model, it took me away from being this big brother or this, somebody that could actually look out for him. So everybody kind of scattered and was just trying to make their way and do their own thing. And with that, it turned into, brothers getting into different type of activities in life that, can lead them on a wrong path. Then also, when I come into the truth, the perception of who I am and what I'm doing was also, not met in a way in which was receivable, where they can look at me and say, oh, like, damn, maybe that's something that I need to follow after. It wasn't until later on down the line that they kind of see how committed I am, and they start really recognizing and seeing the work that I'm doing with that. Okay, leave that door open. When they start really seeing how committed I am to it, that they are starting to recognize, they're starting to take heed to it and pay a little bit more attention. But within this time, they're also growing up and not having to listen to, family gossip and BS. Last time I talked to him, 101, I had a really good conversation with him. And it was right after his mom died, right? Which was last year. Another loss, something I do not talk about. But his mom passed. His dad was sick. His little brother, dad had passed away when he was younger. Then his mom died. So he doesn't have nobody. And then he turned around and just lost his big brother, right? So saying all of that to say, last time I had a conversation with him, I'm just trying to just, at the best that I could do with the mindset I was in, just, not try to be cliche, not try to be like, oh, everything gonna be all right. It's like, look, you got 3 little brothers. He had just had another baby, so he got 2 kids, and I'm trying to talk to him like, hey, listen, things ain't supposed to be fair. Things ain't supposed to be, quote unquote right. But one thing I don't want you to do is, and one thing I'm not going to do is allow this dark cloud to be around or over the memory of your mother. You don't want to do that. Definitely take your time to grieve. Definitely take your time to, let out that hurt and that pain as best as you can. Not to say it's ever really going to go away, but take your time to grieve. But then recognize you've laughed with your mom. You've had a good time with your mom. Your mom had a lot of love for you. You don't want the memory of her to always be overshadowed by something negative because, she passed on before you were ready. Told that to him, told that to his little brother. And just a conversation I had with him, man, it really showed me how sharp, and how mature he was. So it was definitely shocking, to get that call. He was, making a lot of moves to get away from the environment he was brought up in that was causing him, getting him into a lot of trouble. And, he was out in Dallas, got involved with, some things, I guess, that just didn't turn out right for him. But with that, now I got to go talk to little bro. Now I got to go talk to the other little brothers, and then also I got to turn around and I got to talk to you guys, right? I got to let you guys know how, we all dealing with things. We all going through things. There's always going to be a fucked up situation you're going through. And if it's ever within my power, I try my best to respond to people. I try my best to always, give my number out. I mean, it's a lot of people that got my number. I just met them. Like, here, take my number, call me. Always just try to talk about and just be that ear, be that encouraging spirit. Maybe, like I said, I go through things, so I might be able to share stuff with you. And again, if anybody ever want to be able to utilize this platform for that, I might call it like Woe for Woe Wednesdays or something. But anytime you kind of see that woe in the title, just understand and know it's dealing with Strong's H188, which is dealing with a passionate cry of grief or despair. Especially for my little bro, the one that is left behind, who's now the oldest. It's tough on him. But through all of that, having a conversation with him, I'll end it on this. He has recognized, he has received the work that I've put in for the Most High and for the nation of Israel, and he confided in me and let me know that he's been utilizing that as an assistant, for him to deal with these things that he's going through and just that loss and that pain, So, like I said, if I could be that for anybody, not just those that I'm close to or have, within my arm's reach, if I could be that for anybody, on here, hey, I put the link in there. Like I said, if anybody got anything to share, anybody got anything to just, kind of go into, like I said, I want to call it something more like a midday decompress. You can get on here and just say, look, man, I'm tired as hell, yo. I'm at work. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm just trying to make it through to the end of the day, man, possibly catch up on some sleep. I'm maybe trying to put some overtime in, try to get some ease at the end of the month or at the, for the beginning of the month, whatever it is. Get on here and let that shit off your chest, man. And, don't try to carry that shit around, on your own. You don't have to do that. It does not benefit you to hold on to it and to deal with these things yourself at all. It's just going to, enter into you, find a comfortable space within you and just lay dormant. And then it's going to end up coming out later on down the line in the wrong way. So, like I said, man, it's 301. Put a link again in the chat for anybody who want to, click on it, hop on, let us know what's going on. Or, like I said, just express your feelings about something. It ain't got to be something personal. It ain't got to be something deep. It don't have to be, whatever it is that you're going through. It could be something that you heard, or it could be something, hey, you can even come on and say, hey, look, I don't like that this is going on in Israel. This is something that bothers me. This is something that might affect me in certain ways. You tell me your woes, I'll tell you mine, because trust and believe, like I said, we got them. And we got to utilize these platforms for more than just bickering with one another and utilizing it to gossip and talk trash. So, let me see if I'm being booted. Yeah, how about Shem Yashab Rakatha Wata Wata to my brother Marcus G, man? I appreciate it. Let me check something real quick. See if Deacon is on yet. All right, Deacon is on, and that is wild. So I'm about to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said, man, if you ever see that, woe in the title, check it out. Like the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and everybody go head over to Deacon Destruction channel right now to showcase, or excuse me, to witness what he's about to showcase. I already know just from seeing the thumbnail, it's finna be crazy. Deacon always bring that fire. I appreciate everybody. Yabba Shem Yashabaka Thumb. Shalom. Shalom, Mark.
Shalom, hey, I was just well, I just clicked on to you and I just heard you just saying you needed. I mean, somebody could just call just to express whatever. But I just was feeling, I don't know, depressed lately with in the spirit as far as I don't know. It's just been a weird spirit upon me, and I was just hoping you had some encouraging words for me, through the scriptures to help me out.
You said
I lost my.
you said you don't really know why.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my family and whatnot due to the word, but I mean, I've been in the truth for about 2 years, and about a year ago, things just really went south. I've been holding on straight, listening to you guys every day and just hoping for the end to come. And so it's just I don't know, it just been really hard on me as of late, like the last week or so. It just been really hard on me as far as not falling out in the truth, as far as just like holding on. I mean, keeping the faith. You know what I mean? Not I ain't gonna say. I don't know how to explain it. You know what? It's weird. I don't know.
what you mean. I know what you mean. You're just having that real kind of difficulty of like, you know, whether or not I get an opportunity to kind of please people and kind of build back what I had, or am I going to keep pushing in the same direction, which might allow me to lose more and more people. You know what I mean? And where you located, if you don't mind me asking?
Phoenix, Arizona. I just moved out here, and one of the reasons I moved out here because I seen you guys had a camp out here, but I just ain't never been able to reach the camp. You know what I mean? So it's kind of I ran into a GMS camp. I think they were GMS. I don't know if they were or not, but some of the things they were talking about kind of seemed like they were among them. They never really professed they camp or whatnot. So but I was fellowshipping them for some weeks, and so it just felt good being around my brothers. You know what I mean? Somebody that had the same faith as me, and they probably didn't have it as far as like the exact views as I do, but like they knew that how it was the Most High shy and all that nature. So it felt good to know somebody around of that nature. But yeah, I've been trying to reach out to Sakari camp in Phoenix, but it's just been hard to.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do, cause I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna take the blame for this. I tried to get some scriptures in and then try to, you know, lay the premise of what I was trying to do at the end. I can't take away from Deacon's live right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm putting the email in the chat right now. Email me, and then I'll give you my number. We'll get on the phone and we'll call Phoenix directly.
Okay.
But just to answer to your question, and then to speak to everybody that might be going through the same thing, this is why it's important to find brothers to fellowship and link up with. Christ spoke on this directly. He says, "Who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who is my father? Who is my my siblings?" It says, "They that do the will of the Most High and keep it." And he stretched forth his arms to those that he had been doing that work with, those he had committed to the work of his father with. And man, it makes me emotional, right? Because this past Passover, I went to when we all went out to Atlanta, and seeing how the camp had grown from me, Chief, Deacon, and the brother Yadai. He out here in San Diego. You'll always see him off to the side, short brother with curls, kind of heavy set. He's always on post. It was us four, and it turned into about 400 people. You know what I mean? And
I'll pray.
Somebody asked me the other day. They said, how do your family feel about what you do? I'm like, I mean, they know what I do. They accept it. You know, as far as like my mom and my dad. They said, have they ever came to class? I'm like, nah. They was like, did they know that they were invited? Yeah. I had to trick my mom into coming up here to see it.
How did you do that? Because I've been wanting my people to understand, because I can articulate it as well as you guys do as far as how you guys drew me in when I first seen you guys. And I've been trying to trick them and try to get them to understand and try to like maybe catch a video that I caught that, you know.
Well, not necessarily tricking my mom into watching the videos, but I had to trick my mom to come up to the class and to see what is developing, you know, and how this is really finna, you know, the direction it's finna go in. They roll by us at camp, they honk, hey, that's my son. Hey, that's my grandson. My dad lives on the East Coast, but even when he was out here, you know, every week, or excuse me, for a period of time, every week my dad was like, he'll call me on a Friday, somewhere around 3-4 o'clock. What's up, Dad? Hey, listen, let me, you know, get myself together. I got to get ready for class. Oh, you got class tonight? Hey, send me the link. Okay. Oh, for sure. Cool. I'll send him the link. Next Friday, he'll call me again. I'm about to go to class. Oh, man, you never sent me the link. I did send you the link. Here's another one. Here's another one. In fact, Dad, I don't have to send you a link every week. Just click the same one that I sent you and then just go to the page.
Yeah, right.
You think they looked? Nah. And my dad I'm very, very close with my dad. I'm saying all of that to say, when you link up with these brothers, and something I recognized at this last Passover, what Christ said was one of the realest things that I've ever heard. Chief, Deacon, Sergeant Shamar, Sergeant Bazak, Sergeant Yatab, my brother Yaash, you know what I'm saying? My brother Daniel, all of that passed. They more my family than people that share my same blood. And
Right.
and it's because I done fought, I done bled, I done cried, I done did it all with these niggas. Them brothers, you know what I'm saying? But I say niggas because it's like them is my niggas for real. So,
Yeah.
bro, that's something you're gonna have to understand and just like you got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing. What you're going through is not new. It's not like a unique situation. It's been spoken of already and before. And the guideline or the warning that was set for us is, hey, them people that you came up with can be the biggest distraction for you. Either they're gonna support you and it's gonna be love, and then you just got that. That's a privilege, or you don't, and you're gonna find brothers that's gonna give you that. I got you. I put the email in there right now. Email me. I'm gonna give you my number, and then, like I said, we're gonna call Phoenix directly, and we're gonna link y'all brothers up because, you know what I mean. That's all we got.
Right. Right.
We all we got.
Right.
So that's the best I can give you right now. I'm already tapping in Deacon time, but even if you get in here, you don't see it. Sakari San Diego at Gmail, all one word. Sakari San Diego at Gmail. Email me right now. I'm gonna give you my number. We'll get on the phone. We're gonna call Phoenix.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Shalom.
So.
Hey, y'all about Shem Shabbat Thumb. Everybody head over to Deacon page. Check that out. It's gonna be crazy. Shalom.